everybody. Today we're playing Suburbia. I'm excited for this one. Suburbia is a tile laying game by Ted Alspach, and it's published by Bezier Games. This is a game I got, oh gosh, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and I've just played and played and played and played and played. I love this game. But I haven't got to play the solo variants very much. There's 2 solo variants in the game. I've only played them a time or 2. I thought this was a good chance to show you what the game looks like and play a solo variant. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get started. Okay, we're all set up here for one of the 2 solo variants that come in the base game for Suburbia. This is Dale the Bot. The first solo variant is called the Lone Architect. You basically just play the game by yourself for points. Dale the Bot, you play against a robot character, again just for points because he's pretty easy to beat, but it's a little more interesting, and so I thought I would go with that one. We're all set up here, so let's take a closer look at what we have and what we're looking at. This is the main general supply area for Suburbia. What you're looking at here are tiles that have yet to be unveiled, so we don't even know what these are quite yet. We have an A stack we work through, then a B stack we work through, then a C stack we work through. Down here along the bottom of the tiles you can actually buy. In the full game, each of these numbered areas is filled with a tile, and basically to buy the tile it's the cost of the tile plus the modifier that's on top, and then everything moves to the right, so things get less expensive as they wait for someone to buy them. In this solo variant, you will only put out 4 tiles at the 6, 4, 2, and the first 0, and those 4 tiles will actually get wiped out after I take my turn and Dale takes his turn. Those 4 will all be either purchased or gone, and we'll get 4 new ones every single turn. Also in Suburbia you can always buy one of the generic tiles. That's these 3 that are out here: a suburb, a park, and a heavy factory. In addition to that, we also have goals that we're trying to meet with what we're building. In the solo variant here, you get 3 goals that you're trying to work toward. In our case, these are the goals we've drawn. First is the capitalist. You want to have the fewest green buildings. Green buildings are residentials, so we want to have the fewest houses possible, maximizing our profits, I guess. Secondly, we have the industrialist. So yes, in fact, we are trying to maximize our profits, it looks like. We want to have the most yellow spaces that we can have. The yellow tiles are industry tiles, so we want to have lots and lots of factories, not very many houses. And lastly, yep, highest income. So very clearly this is drawing for us a picture of what kind of suburb we want to try to build if we're going to win. So those are going to be our 3 goals that we're going to have against Dale the Bot here. We'll have to see how we do. This is our player board. I always play red. Suburbia comes with a set of 4 player boards. It plays 1 through 4, and all the boards are the same. You have 2 tracks across the top here: income at the very top, and then reputation. The income is marked by this little round piece of wood here, and then this little cube piece of wood here marks your reputation. Income will affect how much money you get at the end of each turn. Reputation will affect how many people, how much population comes into your suburb at the end of every turn. The way that Suburbia works is by the laying of these tiles. Each of the tiles has a number of stats on it to tell you what it does when you put it into your suburb. The number on the left here is cost, and that's how much it costs you to buy whatever it is. The number here in the circle means that this tile gives you more income for being in your suburb. The square here at the bottom is about reputation. This one is actually negative reputation with the red line around it for each adjacent gray or green. The way that these tiles work is they give you a bonus or a penalty for the tile itself, and then for things that are adjacent or things that have similar icons or whatever else, they can trigger other tiles and give you bonuses, plus or minus. And they're all very thematic and they're all very fun, so I'm sure we're going to come across a lot of that as we go. I'm not going to go over a lot of the rules for Suburbia. I'm basically just going to kind of show you what the game looks like and how it plays. We've got a similar setup for Dale. He's playing yellow. He's set up exactly the same as I am, and according to the rules, I always go first, and Dale goes second. So, with that, we can start our first round. My typical strategy in a game of Suburbia is to maximize income early in the game, and then reputation late in the game. For reasons that you'll see here eventually, you don't want to get too many people into your suburb too early. You really want to develop your income stream first. So, with that in mind, we're going to pick one of these blue properties because these are the ones that are going to give us income. This one, the convenience store, would currently cost us $12 million. I think instead we're going to buy this fast food restaurant for $9 million because it does the same thing for us. It's going to give us +1 income, and in addition to that, it's going to give us +3 population for each adjacent green, which is pretty cool. But mainly it saves us some money, so this is, I think, our best play for the moment. We can place our tile wherever we like. It has to be connected to something that is already in our suburb, but other than that it can go pretty much anywhere. I think the place for us to put it, at least at the moment, is right here next to this suburb, because that is going to give us that population bonus that we talked about previously. So we work our way through the tile. We get +1 income. That's the first thing we do. We move up our income 1. Then we look at the bottom of the tile. We get +3 population for each adjacent green. We have 1 adjacent green, which means 3 on the population track. 1, 2, 3. Then we will look for other tiles next to the tile we put down to see if any of them trigger. Suburbs do not trigger, however our park does. We get +1 reputation for each adjacent yellow, green, or blue. We've just put down a blue, so therefore we get a reputation. We move up 1 on the reputation track to 2. At this point we get paid. We get our income of $1 million, but I typically just say $1. We get paid our $1, and we get 2 more population on the population track because that's what our reputation is at the end of our turn. Population is actually how you keep score in Suburbia. It's how you win, is having the highest population. So keeping your reputation up, especially towards the end of the game, is a good idea because that's how you score points. Right now we get to move up 2 more. 1, 2. So now it's Dale's turn. Dale has some rules about what he buys and how he buys it. Dale always buys the most expensive tile that is available, including the tile's cost and whatever modifier is above it. So he always buys the most expensive thing he can. However, he gets to pay only $3 for it. So in this case, Dale is going to get this $12 convenience store, 6 here plus 6 there, and he's going to get it for $3. Dale also has rules about where he places the things he buys. He always places tiles where they will give him the highest combined reputation and income, and in case of ties he always favors reputation. So for him right now, he's got lots of options about where this thing could go. Could go here, could go there, so long as it triggers that park, really. That's all that matters for Dale. So just for fun, I guess we'll put it right here on the left side of the park. That seems to be even with everything else. Okay, Dale gets 1 income for adding his convenience store, and he also triggers this park next door, so he'll get 1 reputation because it's now an adjacent blue. So he gets 1 reputation, and he's the same as me right now, 1 income and 2 reputation. And Dale gains 2 on the population track. At the end of Dale's turn, we scrap the tiles that we still have left in the available tiles section here, and we get 4 new ones from the A stack. Our new ones are, first, the office building. This gives us income, and then also focus there. There it is. It gives us income and also additional income for every adjacent blue. That's a pretty good one. In addition to that, we've got the Homeowners Association. This one gives you money for every green in the game. There are tiles that will trigger on everybody's tiles of a particular type, not just yours. And this is one of those. And we've got a second office building, which in this case will be a more expensive office building because it goes under the +4. And then finally we've got a parking lot. Lots of blue so far in this game. Again, the parking lot gives you income, and then additional income for every adjacent gray, which is your civic government buildings, and then blue, which is commercial buildings. So that's our 4. Now, on my turn, I don't have enough money to buy anything that is in the stack. This parking lot here would cost me 18. I can't do that. This office building would cost me 13. Can't do that. This one's 8 and that one's 9. I've got $7, so I can't get any of these things. When you don't want to buy anything that's in the row, or in my case I can't buy anything that's in the row, I've got 2 options. Option 1 is I buy one of these basic tiles up here that's a factory and a park and a suburb, just like I started out with. I can always buy one of those buildings, and they're $3 for either a factory or suburb and $4 for a park. They're cheap, and they can help you when you need the type of buildings they are. The other option you have is to take one of the items that's in the row here and turn it into a lake. You can flip it over to its back side there, and the lake will give you $2 for each adjacent everything around the lake. So it's a nice little money infusion. It's not income, you don't get it every round, but at least it's something. In my case, I think I'm going to opt for the heavy factory because specifically we're trying to have the most yellow that we can have, and we haven't seen any yellow yet. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pay $3 and get for myself another heavy factory. Now when you take a basic tile, you also get to what I call tube one of the tiles in the lineup, which means you basically get to discard the tile so your opponent can't take it. In my situation, I think I'm going to go ahead and tube this parking lot so that Dale doesn't get bonuses for gray and blue. I'm going to get rid of that one, which means he's going to end up buying this office building. I'm going to put my second heavy factory right here next to my first heavy factory. I'm saving a space here in the middle, which I'm probably going to end up putting a lake in at some point. Lakes don't mind being next to factories, but houses sure do. Houses really don't want to be next to factories, so I'm going to save myself a little space for a lake down the road. This tile gives me +1 income. I get to move my income up 1, and -1 for each, -1 reputation for each adjacent gray and green. I don't have any adjacent gray and green, so that does not trigger. Now I get paid. I get $2. Ready for that. And I get to move up 2 on the population check. Ted's turn. Ted, again, has to buy the most expensive thing. Right now that is this office building for 13. So he's going to buy this office building. He gets it for 3. It's going to give him income and then income for each adjacent blue. Dale, again, always maximizes reputation plus income. The spot for this then would be right here, because putting it there is going to give him additional income because it's next to a blue, and it's also going to give him additional reputation because this blue is next to this park. So let's figure out what he gets for putting it there. He gets +1 income from the tile first. Then in addition to that, he gets +1 income for each adjacent blue. That's an adjacent blue, which means he gets an additional income. Then this blue is next to this park, which means he's going to get +1 reputation for the office building being next to the park. Up 1 in reputation, which leaves him with an income of 3 and reputation of 3. So Dale gets paid his 3 coins, and he's going to get 3 points on our population check. 1, 2, 3, and there went my lead. 4 new tiles before my turn. The first is a landfill. Good for income. No one wants to live next to it. Second, we have a fast food restaurant. And another landfill. And finally, a convenience store. So we've got a 7-Eleven and a McDonald's and 2 landfills. No editorial comments from me on this set of tiles. For my turn, I'm going to continue to pursue income and also yellow tiles. I'm going to buy this landfill right here for $4. I don't have a whole lot of money, but I can afford this landfill. So I'm going to go ahead and snap it up and see if I got a good place to put it. I've zoomed out a little bit here because I'm going to put this landfill right down here on the very outskirts of my suburb and hope I don't have to put anything else by it ever. Pretty much I'm just going to stick it as far down here as I can and hope that it stays out of the way. I think I'll put it on this side just like that, and it'll just be next to this factory and hopefully nothing else ever, but we'll see. So I get +2 income for it, which is great. 1, 2. However, I get -1 reputation for being next to a yellow, gray, green, or blue. It is in fact next to a yellow, so I lose 1 reputation. This isn't actually the worst thing because it slows down how much population I'm gaining over there, which actually is how I like to play the game. I like to keep my reputation low in the beginning of the game, income high, and then make a reputation move at an appropriate point in the game to jump the reputation up and then move me up the board. So this fits with my strategy. I get $4 for my income, which replaces the 4 I just spent on this landfill, and then I also get 1 on the population track. I move up 1. Dale buys the most expensive thing. In this case, that seems to be this convenience store right here, which would cost 12 but cost Dale 3. In placing this convenience store, this is where the AI is going to in fact come into play, into effect. We could put it right here. If we put it right here, he would get 1 income for the tile itself and 1 income for being next to the office building, because that one gives him an extra income for every adjacent blue. That would be 2 with no reputation bonus. But we could also put it right here next to the community park. If we did that, he's going to get 1 income from the tile plus 1 reputation from the park. And if Dale can get reputation, he always favors that. So this seems to be where we got to put it. We get the 1 income and we get the 1 reputation. He gets paid $4 and he gains 4 population on the population track. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've been overtaken. All part of my plan, I think. 4 new tiles. We've got a mobile home community. It's just straight up population gain, nothing else. A slaughterhouse, which will go really nicely with my landfill. A second slaughterhouse. So if 1 slaughterhouse wasn't enough, we can have 2. And that's kind of funny. A fancy restaurant. Real fancy. So fancy it might need 2 slaughterhouses. As you can see, the fancy restaurant plus 3 income, which is pretty cool. For all other restaurants that get built after this one, you lose an income. So it's not quite as fancy when it's not the newest place in town. So it's my turn now, and I only have $6 to spend, which means the only thing I can really buy is that mobile home park, which I don't want because I'm trying to avoid greens so that we can reach this goal, and it doesn't really help me out much. So I am going to build the lake that we saved a space for. Now when you build a lake, the way you build it is you take one of the tiles that's in the row and you tube it, like I was talking about before, by turning it into a lake. So we're going to actually tube this fancy restaurant because we don't want Dale to get it. He will buy that because that's 15. That's the most expensive thing. So we are going to take this fancy restaurant and we're going to turn it into a lake. It's going to go right here. So the lake pays out $2 for each adjacent yellow, gray, green, and blue, which means $2, $4, $6, $8 for us. In addition to our lake money, we also get paid our income, which for the time being is at 4. And we get our reputation bonus, which is 1, so we're going to get 1 more on the population track. And that ties us with Dale. Most expensive thing for Dale now is this slaughterhouse right here at 9, so he'll buy that. So Dale's slaughterhouse gives him -2 reputation. It's not great to have slaughterhouse in your town. You get +1 income for every restaurant in the game. It doesn't really matter for the slaughterhouse, at least, where it goes. However, if he puts it next to this park, he's going to get a reputation for it. So that's probably where he's going to put it. So we put it right here. -2 reputation. We move down 2 on the reputation track, down to 2. +1 income for every restaurant. I have a fast food restaurant, which means Dale's going to move up 1 on his income track. And he's also going to get a reputation for being next to this park. So 1 more reputation for him. Which means that Dale is now at 5 income and 3 reputation. He'll move up 3 more on the population track. 1, 2, 3. Now, these red lines are really important in the game of Suburbia. You may have thought it was strange earlier when I was talking about wanting to keep my reputation down to control my population and not move up too fast. The thing is that every time you pass one of these red lines, you're going to lose an income and a reputation. And you'll notice that these red lines start becoming more and more frequent the higher up you move in score. So the idea is you don't want to move up that track too fast and pass too many red lines, or else you'll find yourself in kind of a negative power curve where you're owing money to the bank every turn, and it's just a mess. So you really want to build up your income before you pass too many red lines. Dale's about to pass one. We haven't passed one yet, but when we do, every time we do, we lose an income and a reputation. 4 new tiles. Another parking lot. A municipal airport. There's 3 kinds of airports in the game: municipal, domestic, and international, and the bonuses for each of them get bigger and bigger. They trigger every airport in the game, including itself. So the bonuses get larger, and the more airports that are in the game globally make all the airports bigger and worth more. We have another fancy restaurant. We'll see if I end up turning this one into a lake as well. And we have a farm. The farm gets 1 income for every restaurant in the game. I don't know why you get negative reputation for a farm being in the area. I guess the smell? I don't know thematically what that's about. But you do. You get negative reputation for having a farm. For my turn, I think I'm going to buy this parking lot. And the reason for it is income. I've got a spot where I can put this parking lot down and then I can just ring it with blacks and grays and rack up some income, which I'm going to need. I thought about building the airport because that at least builds me another yellow, so I'm still working on having the most industrial. I thought about building a fancy restaurant because it's 3 income right now, but I think the parking lot's the better investment for me long term. So I'm going to buy it. It's 12, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. So, parking lot for me. I'm going to put my parking lot right here, next to the factory, next to the park. The idea here being I can build grays and blues all the way around it. So that's where it's going to go for me. I get 1 income from it, and then plus 1 income for each adjacent gray in blue. I've got 1 adjacent gray, so I get 1 more income from it. And then the park also triggers because there's a blue next to the park, which means I get 1 reputation for that. So I get $6, and I'm going to move up 2 on the population track. 1, 2. Most expensive for Dale is this farm at 15, so he's going to get that. And in terms of game mechanics, it doesn't really matter where he puts it. So I'm going to put the farm next to the slaughterhouse for purely thematic reasons. I think it makes some good sense, right? Farm, slaughterhouse, and then right out to the restaurants. Works for me. So Dale's going to get -1 reputation for having a farm. Still don't understand what that's about, but there it is. And then +1 income for every restaurant that's in the game. I still have my 1 fast food restaurant, so Dale's farm is going to earn him an extra income for that. Dale gets paid 6, and his population goes up 2, 1, 2, which means he's passed his first red line. He'll go down 1 income and 1 reputation. Down and down. New tiles, we've got the Mint. Yeah, I think it's our first civic building we've seen pop up. The civics are all like government buildings. The Mint is one of the best ones. It's 3 income plus $2 for each of your civic buildings that you build, and that lasts forever. So every time you build a civic building, you get more money. This one is great. That's one of the reasons why it costs 15 just on the base. That's an awesome one, and we don't have enough money for it, which is sad. Next is, oh really? Would you believe it? A second Mint? Ugh. Okay, well, there's another thing we won't be getting. What else do we have? An office building. And a business supply store. This is really expensive stuff. We may well be building another lake. So I am once again priced out of this market, it looks like. I don't have enough money to buy any of these things. I could buy a basic tile, but I think instead I'm going to go ahead and get another lake. Our buddy Dale, the robot, I don't know why I want to call him Ted, but I kind of do. Our buddy Dale is going to end up buying this Mint here. It's the most expensive thing in the row, and there's nothing I can do to stop him from buying a Mint, one or the other. So it doesn't really matter what we do. So we'll just take this office building and turn it into a lake. And this lake, I think I'm going to put right down here on the opposite side of our factories. These factories get negative reputation for building either a gray or a green next to it. If I put this lake here, it gives me a buffer, and I can start building further out. So I think that's the play for us right now, to $4, and nothing else moves, statistically speaking. In addition to our lake money, we also get our income, which is $6, and we get 2 population on the population track. And we cross a red line, which means a loss of income and reputation. Down and down. As we mentioned previously, Dale buys a Mint, and it doesn't really matter where he puts it, because the Mint doesn't care what it's adjacent to, and he doesn't have anything to give bonuses for being adjacent to gray that's open. So I think we'll go ahead and put the Mint right over here next to his farm and slaughterhouse. I don't know why. I think that's the place for a Mint. So that's where it's going. So he gets 3 income for the Mint. 1, 2, 3. Moving up to 8 income, which is pretty high. And then he gains $2 for each of his grays, including itself. So that's 1, 2 grays. He's going to gain $4 from that. Plus his $8 of income. means that Ted is rolling in the dough over here. And he's also going to gain 1 on the population track. So we've played to the bottom of the A stack, and I think that's where I'm going to stop this particular video. We'll pick up next time with the B stack. The way things are sitting at the moment, though, I'm getting beat by this robot pretty much. Dale's area is pretty compact, it's looking pretty good. He's rolling in money. He's got about 1/3 more money than I do. His income is higher than mine. His reputation is even with mine. He is tied with me on the fewest greens goal. He is tied with me on the most yellows goal, and he certainly has a higher income than I do. He's also 2 up on me on the population track. So, at least 1/3 of the way into the game, and I'm getting beat by a robot. I guess it is what it is. Join me next time to see if I can overcome artificial intelligence. I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's it for us for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.